guys, welcome back to the booth at the Star City Games Regionals hosted by Kirwan's Game Store. We are here for round 3. We have a pretty interesting matchup, I'd say.
I agree.
Blue Jeskai Control versus the Jundi Goryo's Vengeance with the Nourishing Shoal action.
Right. So, Jeskai, easy tier 1 deck. Everyone kind of knows what's up. You just got a bunch of red removal spells, and then a bunch of counter magic and some Teferi's and Snapcaster Mages.
Yep. Like we were talking about earlier, Teferi, the big addition to this deck, really made it a lot more, board play than the deck used to. It used to just be Snapcaster Mage, and that was pretty much it.
Right.
And now you have a really good Planeswalker that interacts with your Snapcaster Mages, interacts with your spells really well. So it's, very powerful and very excited to see it on camera. Hopefully we can get some action going.
Got a nice power boost. And then on the other side, we've got Goryo's Vengeance, the Nourishing Shoal version of it. So this deck is aiming to get Griselbrand into play, draw a whole bunch of cards, and then cast Nourishing Shoal for the alternate cost of exiling a green card from your hand to gain life. And then you're hoping to exile Worldspine Worms to gain more life, draw more cards, repeat the process until you have enough cards in your hand to be able to generate free mana with Simian Spirit Guide, play some rituals, and then play Through the Breach or another Goryo's Vengeance to get Borbergmos and Rage into play, chuck a bunch of lands at your opponent, and then they're dead.
I actually did that in Standard once. Way less on the Goryo's Vengeance, but I did it with the Burial Rites Standard rather than the traditional venues of going for, Arcane or Angel's Serenity, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I went for Borborgmos, played a bunch of mulches, threw lands at my opponent. It was fun.
That's sick. Look, so did Brandon... Is he on a draw discard plan?
Yeah, it looks like without a true blue enabler in hand, sometimes the plan is just go up to 8 cards, discard naturally, and then start playing your lands.
Yeah, it must be right. Yeah. So I guess that must mean that Brandon must have mulliganed to 6 and then is just hoping to draw a discard to get his target into his graveyard and then go from there. Yep. Case in point. A little awkward that when you mulligan, the draw discard plan is kind of slow, but at least he's not getting punished for it in this matchup.
Dre definitely knowing what's up in this match. Double fetch for double shock. Play a Search for Escanta.
Yeah.
Our life total is not that big of a deal.
No.
We're pretty much going to die in one shot regardless of what we do. So deploy your spells, get your lands, get your mana base perfect.
Right. No, that's definitely true. He certainly wants to be able to not have any mana issues. And basics, some versions of this deck play Blood Moon on the sideboard, but in game 1, just get all your shock lands out.
Yeah, we're going to fetch Flooded Strand, get another Hallowed Fountain tapped. We already deployed the spell that we need to deploy at this point. We don't really need the mana now, so we're going to go for a Lightning Helix.
Looks like it.
Again.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, he's getting punished. Oh, man. Oh, Dre. Oh, no.
Brandon Cline, alternate cost on the Simian Spirit Guide is exile it from your hand, add a red mana to your mana pool.
Oh, no.
Tap a black, Goryo's Vengeance, targeting the Griselbrand.
So Dre might just die here. If Brandon has a way to be able to generate enough mana or gain enough life, he could put Borbergmos into play right now and then kill Dre with Lightning Helix still on the stack.
I don't know if we can generate enough mana to be able to get Borborgmos onto the floor. I think we need another black source.
Well, let's see. So he has a Nourishing Shoal and a Worldspine Worm, so he's going to be able to gain 11 here, and then go up to 17, and then have 2 more draw 7s. So what he really needs is he just needs to be able to get 2 Simian Spirit Guides, probably 2 Desperate Rituals, or probably actually 3 really, and then cast Through the Breach. He also could find a way to get Borgmos in his graveyard, and then Manamorphose for the black mana he needs for a Goryo's Vengeance.
So it looks like Cline only has 2 Desperate Rituals and 1 Manamorphose in his deck.
Okay, so what's likely going to have to happen here is he's probably going to have to find Lightning Axe. No, if he finds Lightning Axe, he would be able to get it into his graveyard by Lightning Axing the Griselbrand.
Cline going deep now. We've drawn 7 cards down to 3 life. So if the game doesn't change from here, the Lightning Helix is going to resolve and Cline's going to die.
Yeah. Although he does have a.
He's got a Spirit Guide and a Manamorphose in his hand.
Yeah, he also has at least a Borgmuros enraged, and I believe another Nourishing Shoal. So that Lightning Helix, I do not think is going to kill him, unless he actually did completely whiff. Maybe he did. Then again, he does have approximately 30 cards in his hand right now. It'd be pretty difficult to lose from this spot, although it could happen.
I might even have more than 30 cards.
Yeah, I guess he's activated Gristlebrand 4 times, I
So it
think.
should be about 28.
Yeah, plus
We're just
whatever it
under.
is. Yeah, so...
Yeah, we did have a hand of, I'm assuming, 6-ish cards.
Yeah, like 6 or something like that. Yeah, so...
Right. Discard to goes around puts us to 7. Land puts us to 6. Guide and Goryo's Vengeance puts us to 4. So yeah, we're at 32 cards.
So, okay. Manamorphose.
There's the Goryo's Vengeance if we didn't already have one.
Oh, wow! Oh, man!
Cline was either a shoal or a World Spine Worm away from being able to continue the
Wow.
shenanigans.
That's crazy. Yeah, he must... I definitely saw a Borgmuros in his hand, so if he had a shoal, he could just gain 8 and then still be alive and then have a large hand and hope that Andre couldn't kill him on his turn. But it looks like he just completely whiffed on any way of getting Borgmuros into play or another Nourishing Shoal to be able to gain more life. Man, that's... that was wild. Brandon looked like he was heavily favored to win that game just on the spot, and he just didn't draw the right cards.
Yeah, I'm not huge on discarding the Borgmuros or the Nourishing Shoal either. Winning with just Grizzlebrand attacks isn't fantastic against the Path to Exile deck,
Yeah.
but it is a line we could take.
That's true. Yeah, at the very least, having... There are 2 copies of Borgmuros in most of these Grizzlebrand decks, and these, Goryo's Vengeance through the Breach decks. So even if he got rid of 1 to Nourishing Shoal, he could find the other one maybe. But you are right, it is a lot tougher if you have to get rid of, one of your combo pieces, just Nourishing Shoal to not die.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Brandon's going to bring in this matchup. So let's run through what he's got. So Chalice of the Void. Do you think Chalice something he'll bring in here, or do you think he won't bring it in? What do you think about that card against Jeskai Control?
I kind of like it against this deck. Chalice on 1 and Chalice on 2 can shut off a lot of the different spells that the Jeskai deck can be casting. Like negates, dispels, spell snares, bolts, paths, right? So Chalice on 1, really powerful at shutting off the Path to Exile interactions and some of the counterspell interactions. Chalice on 2 shutting out the Snapcaster Mages, the Lightning Helixes, the negates.
Right.
So very good at stopping the Jeskai deck from really being able to win the game. If you can't cast a third of your burn spells and you can't cast your Snapcaster Mages, it's very hard for you to be able to turn the corner and start winning the game.
Yeah. I wonder... Pact Negation probably comes in? Yeah, Pact Negation is probably pretty good here. He's just trying to set up a turn where he's just going to go pretty much all in, and Pact is obviously great. It's just a free counterspell, just will naturally beat whatever Andre has to be able to stop whatever he's doing.
I also like the Collective Brutality. It's just another outlet to be able to attack Dre's hand, clear the way, make sure the way's clear, and put stuff in your graveyard.
Yeah, Brutality is fantastic in these decks that are trying to discard a reanimation target. Gives you both a duress effect and it gives you a discard outlet all in one card. And even if your opponent has let's say that you're playing in a matchup where they actually have a creature to target, you could just do everything you could ever want, Kill their creature, duress them, get your thing in the graveyard. It's a fantastic card for these decks to have.
Yeah, against a deck like Mardu Pyromancer, I'd say he's probably a better example than the Jeskai decks, because you're not going to have a Snapcaster Mage early enough for a Brutality. But you will be able to fight back through the Mardu deck with a Collective Brutality. You'll be able to attack the young Pyromancer, get another card out of his hand, because the Mardu decks play such a massive spells that they're definitely going to have something else in their hand.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder... There are Blood Moons in Brandon's sideboard. I wonder if he's going to bring them in. He might.
Blood Moon's fine. I'm not huge on it. We are on the play, so Blood Moon's going to be more effective now than it would be Game 3 if we get there.
Right.
You can land Simian Spirit Guides into Blood Moon on turn 1, and then, if Dre doesn't have a basic, not much Magic is going to be played in that game.
It's true. It It is weird because Dre does have a lot of basics in his deck, and if he wants to play around Blood Moon, he can. So having Blood Moon in some spots could be a liability because you're just down a card that is not actually stopping Dre if he has basics. But if you get it down early, as you said, that could really just put Andre out of the game and not allow him to cast the spells he needs.
I'll be curious to see. I guess Andre does have some dispels, and a negate. Otherwise, the sideboard doesn't really have a lot of particularly strong cards against the matchup. No graveyard interaction.
None whatsoever.
Yeah. I'm surprised a little bit.
I actually, Search for Scant doesn't work with Rest in Peace either. I guess that's too bad because Rest in Peace would be fantastic versus this deck, but if you've got cards like Snapcaster Mage and Search is your ways to win, then you can't really play a card like Rest in Peace.
Yeah. It looks like Dre's on a mulligan. They're both on a mulligan of 6, it looks like.
Yep. Looks like it.
Scry 1, Cline's bottom, Dre's top.
Yep. Looks like Temple of Malice is going to shove that one to the bottom, too.
Looks like Dre has a couple of paths in his hand.
Yeah. There's also Serum Visions, too.
Dre probably going to try to be a bit more careful with what he does in this game. Like the fetch land here, pretty dangerous. Cline has the ability to do whatever he wants because there's no actual lands for Dre on the battlefield.
Right. This is interesting. It's a little bit weird right here. If Dre wants to cast his Serum Visions but hold up mana for a Path Exile, he has to get a land right now. So here, for example, he's pretty much opening himself up to a Blood Moon from Brandon. Like if Brandon has land Blood Moon his next turn, Dre's just going to have a bunch of red mana and it's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Hopefully the Serum Vision is going to be able to find us a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Just look like a Dispel in the top 2 cards that he scryed.
Yeah,
Serum Visions, draw a card, scry 2 cards.
Yeah, Dispel's one of the cards that he really wants to see in this matchup. It counters both of Brandon's combo.
Okay, and the top card
cards.
was a Logic Knot.
That makes sense. So
Right,
now
we have Plains in hand too.
Yeah, Basic Plains is nice. Make sure that we can cast both, Logic Knot and Path Exile if necessary. Although Path is still good as like a way to be able to stop any of the large creatures from hitting you. But if he has a Crystal Brand as his large threat, Path Exile's, sure you get it off the battlefield, but Brandon's still going to draw 7. I guess it's really just like your best available option, not necessarily exactly the best way to stop him, though.
Very interesting from Dre. Dre has the Dispel as the second card still on top of his library, and then he goes for the Search for his Canta.
Does Dre not have another land?
He might not. Looks like we're going for a Vision.
Okay.
Serum Vision, draw a card, scry 2. Dre probably looking for a land at this point.
I think so. I'm pretty sure I saw Cryptic Command in his hand. He would really like to get a 4th land, and really probably a land number 5, so he has access to
Cryptic
2 spells.
plus Dispel. Yeah.
Yep.
Or Cryptic plus Path.
Right. He just wants to be able to double spell because Brandon at this point is playing kind of slow. Brandon hasn't played a single spell this game. He is almost certainly just setting up his hand for one major turn where he's gonna fire off a flurry of spells and hope that he can basically get the edge on Dre.
Yeah, Cline has a Through the Breach in his hand right now. So that's probably what he's setting up for. End step Through the Breach. If that gets countered and he loses the fight, he can untap and do whatever he needs to do with Dre being tapped out.
Right. That's a pretty common line of play for these Goryo's Vengeance Through the Breach decks. Having both of your, creature, enablers really. The instance allows you to be able to really constrict your opponent's mana by being able to cast one of the spells on your opponent's end step and then cast another one on your turn after they've countered something during their own end step. All right.
Dre going for a Lightning Bolt end step, trying to keep Cline's life total down a little bit.
Right.
The closer you can get Cline to a multiple of 7, the better your life can be, because he can draw less cards off of Grizzlebrand.
Oh, for sure, yeah. This is not a terrible spot for Dre. He's going to be able to, as long as he gets another turn, untap with a pretty good amount of mana, and I think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the next turn he can just flip his Escanta and have access to a little bit more mana, and in particular, a way to be able to find more counter spells.
Yeah.
Which is
Cline here going for a nice Whisper. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Dre going for a Lightning Helix end step. Again, we're putting Cline under 14, which is really good. If he can get the Griselbrand on the floor through the counter spells and through the Path to Exiles, then he's only going to be able to draw 7 cards.
Yeah, this is a pretty good spot for Dre. He's got Logic Knot and Cryptic in his hand, so he has access to both spells. You know, he actually does have 5 blue mana in play, so he would be able to cast both of them if he needs to. I guess he's gonna try to go for a power play here.
Teferi here.
Yeah, this could backfire if Cline has a way to punish him, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like Dre's gonna get to freely use that Teferi. And then now he's got a Planeswalker in play too. That's a pretty nice spot to be in.
Yeah, Teferi activates. The beautiful part about being able to tap out for the 5-mana Planeswalker is you get to untap 2 lands, and now you have 3 lands on the floor.
Right. Yeah, he's got, access to the Logic Knot that's in his hand. He has a Path to Exile just in case Griselbrand does ETB. He's got this game covered in a lot of different angles, and if he gets to untap, he's going to have access to the mana to be able to cast Cryptic in addition.
So here's the Collective Brutality, like we talked about, being able to attack Dre's hand, gain a little bit of life, which is important because it's going to put Cline up to 14, right? So we can gain another point of life. We can get 2 Griselbrand activations.
I think that Andre should just I think he might just want to let this resolve, because he does have double path in his hand. So if Cline wants to take a Path to Exile, there's still a redundant one, so he's not able to keep Andre off the path. Otherwise, he pretty much has to take Logic Knot here and go for something this turn, but then there's double path to stop Cline from doing anything particularly busted. And then Andre will get to untap with a bunch of mana and Teferi. So I think I really like Dre's spot in this instance.
Yep. So if we take the Logic Knot, like you said, we're able to resolve our spells, right? We're going to have to fight through the Path to Exiles, sure, but we can at least get stuff to resolve.
Yeah, it's true. It's like Logic Knot's the pick here, which is kind of like a forced play. You can't really take a Path to Exile because of a redundant one. Cryptic Command is not castable here, so Logic Knot's really the one target. Yeah, this is okay, but the problem is that the Borg Marinos has to actually hit for the trigger to happen. So Brandon can discard some lands to be able to get rid of this Teferi, but that's just going to leave him with, nothing in play except for a whole bunch of lands and a Through the Breach in his hand with nothing to put in. I'm not really sure what Brandon's line of play is going to be from this spot onward.
Yeah, I believe Borborgimos is a 7/6.
Yeah, it is.
And the 3 damage trigger, I believe, can be thrown anywhere.
Yeah, it's any target.
So he could go after the Teferi.
I guess it just sucks because, I think in this spot here, you're not going to be able to deal lethal with just the Borg Marinos if you just target Andre. So I think you just have to kill the Teferi and hope that you can draw into something else. I guess he's going to...
I guess he discarded a land to deal 3 to Dre.
Looks like it. And then he's going to use 2 more lands to get rid of the Teferi.
Yeah. A line I was thinking about, which would be a little off-put, would be double bolt the Borborgimos, use his ability to kill himself.
Oh, to keep it in the graveyard and not get the path to resolve on that?
Yeah, and then possibly be able to go for another Goryo's later.
That is true. It's just tough because you can do that in the hopes of drawing a Goryo's Vengeance, but then the Teferi is still in play, and you know that Andre has Cryptic in his hand. It's just going to be really tough for you to be able to get another thing to resolve.
Yeah, fighting through the Cryptic's going to be okay to do because Dre's going to have to basically tap out for it, and we do have Pact Negations.
Yeah, that's true. with Andre also having Search for Canada, this is a real tough spot for Brandon to be put in, because every turn that he doesn't really do anything that taxes Andre's counterspells, Andre's going to probably find another counterspell or Path Exile and just, get that much further ahead.
Yeah. Dre just going to play a Mountain and pass, having his Canta up, having Cryptic Command up.
Yeah, this is a pretty strong spot for Dre. Brandon's going to need some really good draw steps in order to be able to come back in this game.
Yeah, we need a little bit more card draw. Another couple Night's Whispers.
Yeah, Night's Whisper into something like Faithless Looting into.
Got a bunch of lands out of our deck, so
Gore-
our draw should be live.
Yeah. Really need a way to get Gristlebrand onto the battlefield and then draw enough cards to have the action necessary to win the game.
Yep. Each turn that we do nothing, Dre's going to be able to keep developing his hand.
Yeah, with that Search for Canton.
Playing more lands. Getting to the point where we can activate Search and Cryptic Command in the same turn.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Just drew it to Fairy too, so it's going to be pretty strong here.
Yep, tap 5, play Teferi, untap 2 lands, still have 5 mana open for Cryptic and Path.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is pretty good for Dre. He gets to get more cards, have the ability to activate Search, have the ability to Path, as you said. He's got basically every card in his hand is available for casting right now, and he's, more or less, that's interesting. I wonder if he's got the Gristlebrand at the spot. Looks like he does.
So again, only being at 12, we're only going to be able to activate Gristlebrand once. Interesting. So Cline's going to let as Canta resolve post through the breach, let Dre untap, and then get activations of his Planeswalker and full use of his mana. It's like Dre drew negate.
I wonder. I'm assuming that. Wait a minute. Am I missing something here? Because he activated on his end of turn. Oh, okay. So the Search was activated at end step. The Through the Breach was also cast during the end step, so Gristlebrand is going to stick around for now. But didn't matter. Double Burn spell is going to end this game.